Go ahead.
Okay. Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to COCA-Con Day 2. It is my great pleasure to introduce Johnny Immerman today. I've been talking to Johnny for a couple of years about speaking at our conference, and while I'm sad we can't see his energy in person, I'm grateful that he is able to join us virtually. Johnny grew up in Detroit, and shortly after graduating from the University of Michigan, he was diagnosed with advanced cancer. He experienced several years of chemo treatments and surgeries, and during this period, Johnny really struggled to find anyone that knew what he was going through. Johnny is a survivor, so one of the reasons we really wanted him to speak with us this year. He co-founded Immerman Angels, which is a Chicago-based nonprofit providing free one-on-one peer cancer support for thousands of cancer families. And he partners with hundreds of hospitals each year. His goal is to make sure that nobody fights cancer alone. I've had the pleasure to hear Johnny speak, so I know you guys are in for a real treat, and please welcome Johnny Immerman.
Hey, Kate, thank you so much for the warm intro. It's great to see you and all you do for Camp Quality and all the kids and the people who work in the cancer camp space. You are awesome. So it's great to see you again. Thank you to Jennifer and thank you to D Golden. You guys are awesome for everything you do at COCA, and Knuckles, appreciate you helping out today as well. Great nickname. And so hope everyone's doing okay today and hanging in there and having a great week so far, and it's definitely an honor to be here with all you guys. So a little quick background about myself. Again, my name is Johnny Immerman. I'm from the Detroit area. I'm in Detroit for about 24 hours, so I happen to be in Detroit where I grew up in my hometown right now, but New York is home full-time. And I went to University of Michigan for college. I was just a couple years out of college, and I felt normal like most kids do in the 20s. You know, you're going to the gym, you're hanging out with friends, you're going on dates, you're doing a lot of the stuff that we all do in the 20s, and working a job, trying to figure out who you are and your career. And just a couple years out of college, I was 26. It's kind of a crazy story. I was with a group of friends, maybe 3 guys and 3 girls, I think. We're in a bar in Ann Arbor. I had some friends who were in grad school there, and drove up for the night to meet these guys. And we all go to a bar on Main Street in Ann Arbor, and we're hanging out. We're shooting pool. We're having fun. Typical, Saturday night, couple beers here, a couple beers there. And all of a sudden, the worst pain of my life flips on like a light switch. Excruciating pain flipped on like that. I had no idea what in the world was happening to me. And men, you guys out there can relate exactly how this might feel. I think you could imagine it. And women out there, please take my word for it. This is a very sensitive organ. But again, we're shooting pool, and then out of the blue, it felt like someone took a knife and violently stabbed me in the left testicle. Yes, sensitive organ, excruciating pain. I literally dropped the pool stick on the ground. I physically doubled over. I could not even stand up straight. I was completely doubled over. And my friends looked at me and said, Johnny, like, what happens? What's going on with you? Like, do you need to go to the hospital? And I'm trying to figure out what is going on in my body, having no idea. And typical 26-year-old male, I said to my friends, hey guys, I'll go to the hospital. I'll figure out what this is. Like, I don't want to ruin your Saturday night. Very foolish, but unfortunately it's true. And I waved my friends off, even though they wanted to help so much. And I literally couldn't stand up from this pain. I'm like shaking in pain. And I literally start to waddle as I'm hunched over like this. I start to waddle out of the bar, hunched over, and people are staring at me and looking at me, and what is this, and what's going on with this guy? What is he okay? And what's happening? And I continued to waddle out of the bar. I waddled down the street, and I finally get to my car, and I open the car door, and I swing my legs up and into the car, only to realize that I'm alone. And the pain is so crippling that my legs are literally locked up in sort of like a fetal position. And I can't get my legs to extend, and I can't reach the pedals. And so at that point, I'm like, well, I'm alone. I'm starting to cry now in pain, and I can't reach the pedals and I can't move this car. And what do I do? And so the only thing I can do is I literally start to push on my quads. I start to push on my legs, trying to get my legs to extend, and they're locked. And I'm literally struggling to push my legs down. I finally get my legs down enough where I can extend and touch a pedal. And I start to drive this car again. Very stupid. I don't recommend any of this, but it's true. You just think you power through it when you're a 26-year-old male and you've never been through cancer yet. And I finally touch a pedal. I start to drive the car and finally get to the hospital and meet with some doctors. They start running some tests. And not long after, I've got a doctor coming back in the room and sits down with me and crosses his legs and runs his hands through his hair and says, listen, kid, I'm really sorry. You're in your 20s and you're alone. And I know this is going to scare you, but you have testicular cancer. And we think it's pretty advanced. It looks like a big tumor here. And of course, I had no idea what it was. And it was brand new to me. I didn't even know really what cancer really was, and just was not on my radar at all, as it is not for most young people in general, or anyone really at any age. So quickly, I then had to go into treatment. I went in to do an orchiectomy, which is a surgery to remove the left testicle. That's step one. There's no way to separate the tumor from the testicle. And then step two, I had to go in and bank sperm. So pretty quickly, I learned I'm not going to be able to have my own children, most likely. So you got to go bank sperm. That was definitely an experience of I never thought I would be doing before. And you kind of learn as you go, as they say, build a plane as you're flying, and figure out what that is. And I wasn't married and I didn't have kids, so it was something I had to really figure out quickly. And then after the banking sperm, then I had a port that was surgically implanted into my left arm. And so, as many of you know, and you guys are awesome for all you do to help all these kids with cancer and young adults with cancer, and working at the camps and volunteering at the camps. But I'm sure you have plenty of insight and experience with some of these kids. And you've seen a lot of ports probably up here in the chest. And every now and then you'll see a port like mine, which was in the arm, sort of inside the bicep. And as many of you know, it's a plastic chip. It's an implant that's surgically implanted under the skin. It attaches to the vein and runs a catheter line through the vein all the way to the heart. And then they sew it up. And it's like the size of a quarter, maybe a little bit thicker, but flat. And a couple days later, after they insert the implant, your body heals up, and it makes it very easy to take a needle attached to chemo and then stick it into the port every day versus going to a vein, right? Every time you go to a vein, you risk damaging the vein. The chemo is so toxic and so potent, it can actually cause bigger problems if you're doing heavy chemo, as it is for testicular cancer, which is pretty much about 7 or 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday, every day is the first week of every cycle. So there's a lot of chemo, and that's why the port really protects those veins. So I went right into chemo, and that's bleomycin, etoposide, and cisplatin was my cocktail for chemos. And I went for about 5 to 6 months of chemo, typical side effects that a lot of us have. And I think you're very used to this, guys, for all the good work you do and getting to know a lot of these kids, these cancer kids going through it. Is dryness of the skin is very typical, neuropathy in the fingertips and the toes. You get sort of a numbing feeling. Other side effects, mouth sores. I sometimes would have a mouth sore in my throat the size of my pinky nail that you just don't want to eat, you don't want to drink. Cystic acne, rashes, as your immune system's kind of being knocked down. Of course, a lot of these other side effects pop in. Obviously, losing hair, losing eyebrows, eyelashes, things like that were typical side effects. And then fatigue, of course. Everyone's pretty much tired. So I was pretty down. I was a guy that went to the gym basically every day and could not do that, of course. I was wiped out. Didn't go to the gym once, actually, for about 2 years. And I went from every day to about 2 years. And so I think it's something we think about with a lot of these kids and their normal daily activity that just comes to a screeching halt. They can't do these things that's really a part of their lifestyle and really who they are, what they love to do. It takes away sort of their livelihood. So I definitely felt that way at 26, that my normal flow of life, whether it was work or going to the gym or hanging out with friends, none of that was happening. I mean, work was happening, but it was on a very lighter level. But the other things, the social aspects, the gym, none of that was happening. Just couldn't do it. And so I went through chemo about 5, 6 months or so. Fortunately, at the end of chemo, they scanned me. Everything looked clear. So I started to build back up, and I started to, slowly start to exercise. It was a rough awakening, getting back into the gym and trying to feel like, I had strength again, but slowly feeling a little bit more like myself. And about a year goes by. And then after a year, now I'm like 27 and a half-ish. And then they did a checkup CAT scan. And unfortunately, there were 4 tumors behind my kidneys, sort of near my spine, that popped up. So immediately I went right back into surgery, and I had an 11-inch vertical incision from my sternum, pretty much, the sternum right here, all the way down to the pubic bone, about 11 inches long, and they slice you open sort of like a fish and open you up. It's about a 6-hour surgery. I had to move my stomach, my liver, my kidneys, my intestines completely outside of my body and move them over to the side to get to where the tumors were, behind the kidneys, in front of the spine. And they were able to cut all 4 tumors out, cut the lymph nodes around the area, staple everything up, put the organs right back in. And then when I woke up, and stitch me up. And then when I woke up, I had 60 staples pretty much up and down, and an NG tube in my nose. And I obviously wasn't going to the gym that night. It took a while to get back on my feet again and get back to, feeling that I had any sort of energy again. But, I think the important part of this experience, one reason I want to share my whole experience is, we have to find ways to turn struggle and pain into purpose and into positivity, right? We got to find ways to find meaning and purpose in everything in life. And this was one that, like a lot of other young people and a lot younger than me, will learn this lesson sooner than others. And for me, I had the best mom. She was there every minute, every chemo, every treatment. My brother's my best friend. He's now my business partner with Clothes Talk, which we make apparel for about 375 nonprofits and build them an e-store and design their swag and make it a little more high quality and make them on demand and drop ship. And we work together. We're best friends. But he was there as well all the time. My friends were great. I was in Detroit when it happened. So guys I grew up with, my Michigan buddies, some of them were in town. I had like a cheering section around me in my hospital room for 8 hours a day, chemo. And that was great. And I was very grateful. And I couldn't have done it without them, no question. But I looked around this room and I had the support team, but no one in the room could look into my eyes and say, man, I get you. Man, I've been there. Man, I've done this before. I know exactly what you're feeling. Man, I'm also young. I also did this chemo. And after a while, I'm like, where are those people? Where are the people like me that are out there that truly know what this feels like? Or someone that even did this last year that could say, here's where you're going. Here's the end of the marathon you're on. Here's what the 26.2 mile marker finish line looks like. And then here's how to build back up. I was just very alone and isolated, I felt in that way, and scared, not knowing when this thing was ever going to end and where was this winding road even taking me. It was new and I'd never done it before. And I think we have that from a lot of young people with cancer. The biggest fear is just the unknown and the isolation, that they don't know others like them instantly. And oftentimes with young people, you're the first one, of your friends. Your friends can be great and they can be supportive, but they just haven't really walked that walk. And it's hard to connect with them. It's hard to expect them to relate to you. So towards the end of treatment, looking around at my family and having that, and then looking around at the end of treatment in so many other rooms that people were alone. And I had all these people in my room and so many other rooms. People were alone, no family, no friends. Maybe everyone was working. And I was thinking, how can these people stay motivated? How do they stay positive? I'm like, there's no way I would be positive if I was alone all day. And, you take your IV pole, guys, and you walk down the hallway, to go to the bathroom to pee, a few times a day. And you can't help but look in these rooms and see these people. And sort of, I think a lot of us, the guilt starts to pile up, especially if you have a lot of support and love and other people don't. And you start to feel guilty. Like, why are these people fighting? And there's no one in their corner. There's no one rooting for them. There's no one supporting them or motivating them. And eventually towards the end of treatment, I started walking into patient rooms and just introducing myself. I was like, hey, I'm Johnny, what's your name? Oh, your name's Amy? Like, what kind of cancer do you have? Like, I have ball cancer and I'm going through testicular cancer. These are my chemos and I got this funky side effect. Did you get this? Did you get that? And immediately we connected. Immediately we connected because there's everything in common. You're all in there together. People are bored and they're nervous. And the ones that are alone just want to talk to people, especially someone who understands, who relates, who is a fellow person fighting the same fight. We're all rooting for each other. It's an instant connection. And so really what happened after doing that, going door to door and meeting people, and at the very end of treatment, I finally met a group of young adult survivors just randomly. And we all said, we got to give back. We got to find meaning and we got to find purpose. There's got to be a reason that we all went through this and we all are finding each other now. And we all agreed, guys, that the broken part of the system for every one of us was that none of us knew a survivor like us from the start, from the beginning, when you're the most scared and you're the most nervous and you're the most unknown and you're just, the fear is just, it's like you're in a dark room and how do I turn the light on? Like, where am I going? And so we all said the way to give back and the way to do this is our story. Let's look at our knowledge of our experience as a gift. You got to live it in order to give it. And if you've lived it and you understand it and you know a little survivor tips and you've asked your doctor a million questions and you've learned a lot and we're proof that, hey, we're in a good place now. Like, we've been through cancer and we're building back up and we can share this to help others. We created a nonprofit. It's a 501c3. As AK said earlier, it's based in Chicago, but we help people so far in over 105 countries. We have almost 13,000 cancer survivors that are with us. And basically what it is, it's a mentoring program. It's a one-on-one mentor program. And we call it Immerman Angels. And the angels are mentors. They're survivors. They're people like that small group of survivors at the hospital that were finishing treatment saying, hey, we have a story that matters. And we can give our friendship, and we can give our positive energy, and we can give our knowledge along the way, and we can inspire hope. And we can show these people that, hey, there will be a day when you're back again and you're happy again. And we know it's hard. Hard for us too, but stay motivated, stay the path. We're here to answer questions. We're here to help. So basically what Immerman Angels does, we have 14 full-time staff, again, based in Chicago, but helping people everywhere with any cancer, anywhere in the world. We'll find someone that lives in Tulsa, Oklahoma with stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma. And we'll say, okay, Mike, you're going through that and you're 25. Well, we know another guy who's 35, but when he was 25, he had stage 3 Hodgkin's. Now he's 35, his name's Terry and he lives in New Jersey. You gotta meet Terry. He's awesome. And he volunteers with us to help you. And the first thing Mike says is, whoa, like that guy just wants to help me. And that guy's been through the same thing. And I would love to pick his brain. I would love to ask him questions. I would love to hear of his experience. But we're creating a friendship that is just based on shared experience. And we can introduce them one-to-one. And all the knowledge and the hope and inspiration along the way, Terry in Jersey can easily help Mike get through this. And of course he understands, and of course he gets it. Or maybe it's a woman with stage 3 ovarian cancer in Alaska matched with somebody who is in Miami, who's the same age and beat that same cancer. So same age, same cancer, same treatment, same as much as we can. Even if someone wants to meet someone their own race or their own religion, their own sexual orientation, maybe it's a particular treatment like an awake craniotomy for some gliomas with brain cancer, and they just want to talk to somebody who had that same exact awake craniotomy. I mean, who wouldn't be terrified to have somebody cutting into your head and they're talking to you and you're awake the whole time while they're doing a 19-hour surgery in your brain, right? Well, there's somebody out there that may live in London or that may live in South America who says, oh yeah, I did that surgery. And guess what? Like I ran a half marathon last year. Like I'm back. Like I built back up and I feel good and my head feels good. But here's what happens. Here's what happens in the OR. Like here's what you need to know. So that's the right guy, right? You find, or woman, you find that person who's been through it to be their support. Now, Immerman Angels always and only does one-on-one mentoring. We don't do group support. We have awesome, awesome partners like the Cancer Support Community, Gilda's Club, many other groups that do group support. Us Too is a great one, group support for prostate cancer specifically. We partner with hundreds of groups. So we let them do that because they do that great. And we want to be the best in the world at one-to-one. But within that one-to-one scope, guys, we also do one-to-one mentoring for caregivers because you got to support the whole team. It's not just the person that's sick. So if somebody is in LA and they're in LA and they have cancer, oftentimes they'll find us first and we'll match that person with a survivor who may live in Alabama, who's a perfect match. But then the spouse of the person in LA says, hey, I'm struggling. Like we have kids and we both have jobs and my spouse has cancer and like I'm trying to like make food and I'm trying to take care of my kids and I'm trying to get them my job and help them with their job and we got hospital appointments every day and this is just absolutely overwhelming and I have a tough time staying mentally sane, which is totally understandable. We will match that spouse with another spouse one-to-one who says, oh, I've been through it and my spouse had the same cancer and we also have kids and we understand, but we did it 5 years ago and we understand what's involved. And oh yeah, your kids are this age, our kids are pretty much the same age. Like here's my advice on how much to tell them, when to tell them, what to tell them. And there's so many little intricacies, but if you can line them up spouse to spouse where they're so similar, then there's so much to offer and so much to give from that angel, that mentor, that spouse who's been through it, and what works and what doesn't work to share it and give it back so somebody else in their family can get through it much easier than having to navigate alone and for the first time with so many unknowns. So we also do spouse to spouse one-to-one. Immerman Angels also will match, unfortunately, the sad ones, the saddest stories that we deal with are when someone passes away. For example, when someone loses a child to cancer, and the parents are lost and in a really, really bad place. Let's say the child was 10 years old. We will match them with another set of parents or parents that says, you know, about 5 years ago, I also lost my 10-year-old to cancer. And here's how I coped in year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. And I never thought I would be where I am now, but I have actually found some level of peace and some level of happiness that I never thought in year 1 I would ever have. And so that's a powerful voice, right? To give back and to share that with somebody who is just lost their child last week, right? They need to connect with those who get it and those are farther along and have a positive story. So those are the 3 real one-on-one matches that we can do. Someone that's fighting cancer with someone who survived it, someone who, or a thriver. I want to make sure I honor that because we have a lot of thrivers that are living with stage 4 cancer, let's say stage 4 breast cancer, but there's someone else out there that might be 8-10 years thriving with stage 4 breast cancer. And it's true. And these people are doing fine and things are in check and they have quality of life. That's a powerful match one-on-one with somebody who found out last week that they're never going to beat their breast cancer and they're going to live with it. And maybe they're not going to live long, they think, but when they meet someone who's 8-10 years out and they're still going and thriving with breast cancer, that's a powerful voice. That will help motivate them. Whoa, I might have years of great years and maybe more than 10 years, you know, who knows? But you got to show them those positive stories. But we matching one-to-one with those who are fighting cancer, those who have survived it as a mentor, and then those spouses or family members or brothers or children to parents, one-to-one, and then when somebody loses someone. So please remember Immerman Angels, guys. This is our logo right here. Everything is free. We're blessed to be the largest network in the world of one-to-one mentoring in the cancer space. And we, again, partner with hundreds of other groups, and we get referrals, and we send them people that find us and get a match. We send them to so many other groups when people need other things besides one-to-one. So as we all know, it's teamwork, it's working together, it's knowing each other, it's partnering and making sure people can find the right resource and the right group based on what they individually need as quickly as possible, so these families can get the support and the help that they need. So that's pretty much what we do every day, and that's the only thing we do. I'm a big believer in mission-focused nonprofits. You can't be everything to anyone. I learned that from my board years ago when they grabbed me by the neck and they're like, "We're all over the place." And when we picked one thing and said, "Let's be the best in the world," that's when we got really much better at what we do and much more effective, because we were focused and we did one thing and just wanted to be the masters of that, and then partner again with other groups. That is really, really the key. But I want to make, a really important point. I think that turning pain to purpose is so key, and finding something meaningful and something positive through cancer. And again, thank you guys all for your service, for what you do to help the kids, to work at these cancer camps, to volunteer at these cancer camps, to empower kids, to give them good energy. Just the fact you take time out of your day to empower them and support them and connect with them. I mean, that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I think one thing is you guys coach these kids and support them and have them and host them at your camps, is how we're always thinking about teaching them how to find some purpose and some meaning. And there will be something positive. And maybe it's just the power of connection. And maybe it's that. Maybe it's more than that. But to me, that's the number one thing, is that it's an opportunity to connect with others who understand, right? And looking at their cancer and embracing it in a way to say, well, I can have friends like me, and I want to connect with others like me, and I want to talk to them, and maybe I can help them, and maybe I can share something. Because one thing we have learned in all the mentoring that we've done for the last 20 years or so is it feels good to give back. It feels good to help somebody else as their mentor and talk to them for a year plus, maybe longer during their treatment, however long that treatment is, and then watch them cross the finish line. That's the juice that gets us excited. That's the energy, the vibe that we go crazy for, because we know that we can make a difference, and we do it, and we help someone get to that finish line. All of a sudden, there's something positive about our experience. So I really encourage you guys in your work with these kids to help them see the bright side of this and the positive side of this. And that oftentimes, it's going to seem hard. It is hard, but it's find community, find others like you, find organizations like Immerman Angels to be a mentor, to give back, join support groups, join groups like Stupid Cancer, that work with young groups, Teen Cancer America, they work with young, working and connecting with others and finding some sort of purpose, I think will really help them to find a better life and a happier life and work through the trauma. Because to be upfront, that's how we healed, not knowing what in the world we were doing, but we knew it was the right thing to do, was through sharing our stories and giving back. And in that process, everybody benefited. Those we helped benefited, but we benefited as well, because it simply gave us joy and happiness and sort of a gratitude of life that, wow, we really have something special to give. And it feels great to give. And the friendships we make are fantastic. What's better than that in life, are the people in your life. And so really encourage these kids to do that. And I also want to mention one other point about the red carpet, which oftentimes for these kids is, is they sort of, the carpet rolls out and it's beautiful. And you got groups like Make-A-Wish, and you got groups like Little Wish Foundation out of Indy, or Bare Necessities out of Chicago. And they're doing awesome things and granting wishes and positive things for kids with cancer. But at one point that will end, and I think it's important to really help these kids, that they understand that when that ends, you can still be grateful about life and not expect it, not feel maybe, I don't know if entitled is the right word, but that it still comes to you, that you don't want them to be feeling that they're not important anymore, because they still are. Of course, there still are, but it's a tricky thing when everybody is helping you when you're sick, we hope. And then once it's over, a lot of them will drop and feel disconnected. Where'd everyone go? And everyone forgot about me. And so I think it's important that they don't expect it'll be like that forever. It's a tricky balance to coach that and teach that, but it's important so they don't sink too low and go to a bad place, because the buildup after cancer can be hard. And eventually that red carpet, will no longer be. And sometimes that's a good thing. It helps them work and focus on giving back and helping others versus things in the red carpet for yourself, right? Thinking outside yourself, I think, is the real key to not have a separation anxiety from that red carpet after that ends. So I just wanted to point that out as well. And I think we got some great questions here in the chat. So I am going to pop over. Question from Millie F. Millie, thanks for your question. How do you volunteer to do this? Yes, and we're free. It's just a network of survivors and family members that give back. If you're someone who wants to volunteer or be a mentor, you've been touched by cancer in any way, shape, or form and want to be a mentor, it's just immermanangels.org. So it's IMERMAN angels.org. And if you put .com in, you'll still get us. If you use 2 M's, you'll still get us. We got a bunch of URLs because that is a difficult name. And I totally understand that. My mom named this before we ever thought we would do this full time. We were just a group of young survivors in Metro Detroit going door to door, doing pump ups 1-to-1. So the name, I apologize for that. But if you forget our name, don't worry, everybody. You can go to one-on-one cancer support, and Google gives us grants where we get free keywords. So we're higher on SEO, search engine optimization. So we own basically one-on-one cancer support. You forget our name, just type that in. We're #1 on Google, pretty much, I think, anywhere in the world. And you'll find us, Immerman Angels, and people can sign up online. You can become a mentor and just sign up online. One of our team members will call you and do a little training to be a mentor. And if you are someone, or someone fighting that could use a mentor, you can also sign up on the site that way, and someone from our team will call. And if you don't have internet access, or the people that you're serving don't have it, it's just I think we're 1-800-Immerman, or should know this, I forget, it's been a while. I think it's 1-888-Immerman, IMERMAN, and that will come right to us and our team. If they can't sign up online, of course, anyone can just call in. So thank you. And any volunteer, who just be a promoter. You can also be a promoter, spread the word, just like the groups in COCA need awareness. And Immerman Angels also just needs awareness, because we don't want anyone to go through cancer and wish they had this and then not have it and find it, because it's free. It's available, and survivors and family members are ready to give back on call, but we don't want anyone missing us and wanting us. That's a missed opportunity. So thanks for spreading the word about Immerman Angels to anyone. It would definitely help us reach the people we need. So thank you, Millie. Another question from Jennifer B. for the Cancer Survivor Thriver Mentoring. Do you serve just adults or children? Thank you, Jennifer. We serve everyone, any age, generally children about 13 years old, which is maybe 7th grade-ish, right? That's about where we draw the line in terms of matching them themselves. So if it's a 7th grader and they're in New York City and they're diagnosed with leukemia, and it's a girl named Amy, we're going to match her up. She's old enough at 13 to be matched with someone who's a senior in high school and says, when I was in 7th grade, my name's Susie. When I was in 7th grade, I had leukemia. I had ALL, the same as you, the same chemos. I was the bald girl at school in 7th grade. I get you. I know what it's like to be the only one. But now I'm a senior in high school, and let's talk. I know your story. I've lived your story, and that can work great. Younger than that, we generally match the parents. So if the child's like 5 years old, 7 years old with cancer, we match the parents or parent with another set of parents or parent have a child that's been through the same thing. So that's the parent-to-parent caregiver match, as we call it. So just when they're younger than 13, they're just a little too young. The families can bring the kids in if they want to. If it's a local match, they can even meet together eventually. I know COVID, we have to be a little careful, of course, because of compromised immune systems, especially. So we really are encouraging most people to do it virtually if they can right now for obvious reasons. But non-COVID times, it's great when people can match and they can bring the kids together too. But absolutely 13 and up, we can definitely match you. We definitely do adults. We've matched people in the 90s that have called us. Our oldest person we ever matched is probably about 95, 96, but sharp and wanted, support. And we don't, any age, any cancer, anyone, any race, any color, any religion, anyone in the world touched by cancer needs help. We are as inclusive as anyone can possibly be to make sure that they reach someone like them. So thank you, Jennifer, for your question. And Karen, are there specific qualifications for a person to become a mentor beyond being a cancer survivor? Thanks for your question, Karen. There are no other specific qualifications other than you just want to give back and you want to help, anyone touched by cancer, the caregiver or a survivor who cares enough and wants to give back. We love you. We'd love to have you on the team because it might be in a month or 6 months, somebody like you is going to get diagnosed, sadly. And if we know you and you're in our system and you're trained and it's a quick training, we do it either through Zoom or on phone. And we make it really easy for people, but there are certain things we do want to train before you start mentoring. We have a guidebook that we give you as a mentor just to make things really, easy, and there are no surprises and you just kind of know as much as you need to know before you start mentoring. But basically the only qualification is just being an awesome human being who's lived through the story and wants to give back and find purpose and help somebody else. So that's really it. But everyone who does become a mentor will talk to one of our team members, and we do, that training over the phone in addition to the manual and a video actually as well that all of our mentors will watch. And there is a quiz. I'm sorry to say that, but there is a quiz because we want to make sure that they watch the video and role playing and they really understand, what to do and what not to do. The really only big what not to do is you don't want to give medical advice because doctors do that. I'm a survivor. I've learned a lot about cancer with all my survivor buddies, but I'm still not a doctor and I can't tell someone what drugs to take or not take. So we got to let the doctors make that call. They're licensed, they're professionals. As long as we don't get in the middle of that, almost everything else is fair game, being a friend, being a support, and being someone who cares and will show up and be there to talk to and help those people through the fight. So thank you for that question. And that was from Karen. And there's another question from Allison. How does someone have to be a volunteer? How old does someone have to be a volunteer? Wondering if some of our campers who are 5 years out of treatment, but still 16 or younger can mentor. So it's really about 13. So in order to be a mentor, specifically mentor someone, they could mentor. We have done it before. I mean, someone could be a 13-year-old who's done with leukemia, matched with another 13-year-old, and you make two buddies that one just started it. I mean, we can do that. Generally, again, younger than 13, it's the parents because they're just a little too young. But 13, 14, we can make matches on either side, and we've done it, and it works really well. And so thanks for your question. Hopefully that answers that for you. We want to be inclusive of everyone, but if the kids are just too young, of course, we got to match the parents with the other parents. And that really kind of helps on that level, let the parents kind of introduce the children if they want to. So thank you, Allison. Great question. And here's another one from Heather. Thanks, guys, for your questions. I love questions because I want to make sure this is clear to you. And I want to answer everything that you're curious about. And I want to make sure that we're talking about what you guys want to talk about, not what I think you might be curious about. So please ask questions. This is from Heather. Does the cancer patient have to be going through treatment to get their match, or can it be several years after treatment to get a match? Great question, Heather. It's any point in the treatment, anyone, any age, any cancer, any treatments, anyone in the world. So there's really no limits. There's no one excluded. We include everyone. So sometimes people find us on day one. I can remember taking calls in the early days where someone called me in the parking lot and said, I just got diagnosed with cancer 10 minutes ago. I'm in the parking lot of the hospital. I haven't even called my spouse yet, but they told me about Immerman Angels, my doctor, and I need a survivor now because I have no idea what is going to happen to me. And just give me somebody who knows and's been there. And so, yeah, sometimes they call us immediately. Sometimes that first week is probably a little more typical. That first week, they reach out for help. But it could be 6 months in. Sometimes it's as they're finishing treatment and they say, hey, I knew about you. I just had a lot of love and support. And I knew a couple survivors, but now I want to be a mentor and give back. That's fine. Whatever's comfortable, we're very flexible and easy with that. At any point during treatment, we can help. And a mentor, how long does a mentor need to be beyond treatment or beyond most treatments, let's say? It's really case by case, because you can have a thriver who's thriving with cancer 6-7 years out and still in treatment, but still be a powerful voice for someone new to learning that they are stage 4 with the same cancer and they're in year 1, right? So that thriver at any point could find us and help another person. And sometimes it's people that finish treatments, people like me that, I finished chemo. And even though I did have those 4 tumors come back, I was mentoring already, pretty quickly. I was ready to talk to people and try to help them through it. So we take it case by case. There's not a real blanket statement on you have to be X amount of time out of treatment. That's why we talk to everybody. We want to make sure they're in a good place. But anyone can just reach out and our team will figure it out and take it from there. But in general, if they're in a good place as a mentor and they're out enough to feel good and want to do this, there's a spot on the team. And any point that someone who's fighting cancer or the family going through it, they can find us at any point. We're here to help. That's for sure. So thank you for that question. And there's another question from, let's see, not sure who this is from, but it says, are there mentors for siblings of cancer patients as well? I know you mentioned spouses and parents. The answer is yes. Siblings find us all the time. My brother's my best friend. He's my business partner. Someone like, hey, he is a mentor with us to help another brother who says, my best friend, my brother just got diagnosed with cancer and I am just losing my mind, like how to be the best support, how emotionally do I get through this? And my brother could be that mentor in our system. Absolutely. So sibling to sibling, even cousin to cousin we've had, best friend to best friend, you name it, parent to parent, child to child, any way that's going to help people, we're going to do it. I've got mentors of all different types that are related to the cancer patient. So there's really no limits there. That's about siblings. Good question. And there's another question. You mentioned, Johnny, hundreds of partners. Are you formally connected with COCA? There are lots of great cancer camps out there, and it may be easier to link to COCA instead of directing folks to every single camp individually. Yes, fortunately, I do know the COCA crew. I'm a big D Golden fan and Jennifer fan, and I love what they're doing, and they know us and we know them. And yes, I think they've been incredible with helping us make sure that people in all the camps know about us and that we're here. And likewise, any camps that we come across, we want to make sure they know COCA and they're involved. And that's just relationships, and that's just knowing each other. And if everyone knows each other and we're all working together for one common purpose and one common good, we're going to make sure people find the resources they need the fastest and at the right time. So absolutely, it's been a pleasure working with the COCA crew. And you guys know they're fun too. They're not only good at what they do and effective, but they're fun. And we value fun very highly. It's important. You got to have fun. You guys are camp people. You know that. That's for sure. So here's another question from Maria. Is there support for Spanish-speaking families? Yes. In fact, Immerman Angels site has a Spanish version. So it's very easy to read the site in Spanish. If that's easier, we absolutely have that. We have Spanish brochures. Anyone who wants our brochures, by the way, you can go to our site at immermanangels.org, and you can order brochures in English or in Spanish. It's of course free. We will ship them right to you. We get a lot of doctors and hospitals and social workers, but obviously camps too, just like you guys or other cancer partners. You can order brochures. We'll ship them right to you on us and make sure that it's really easy for you to give them out or make sure people can find them. We also have one and sometimes more, but always one at least full-time Spanish speaking, which we call matcher or cancer support specialist. Lizbeth is her name. She's incredible. And Spanish is her first language too, which is great. And she works with a lot of the Spanish speaking people on both sides to make the right match. So absolutely, we're there for any of our Spanish speaking friends if it's easier to make the matching and the whole process as easy as possible. Absolutely, great question. We also capture on our intake form, when people sign up online on either side, there's a list of 25 boxes of languages. It might be more than 25, but it's like English, Spanish, French. I mean, we capture all of these languages, so we do know what languages people speak, and oftentimes it's multiple languages, because that's really important to us when we make the match, that we can make sure that two people are connected and can speak in the language that they prefer. In rare cases, when it's a super rare cancer and they don't speak the same language and they're in two different parts of the world, things like Google Translate have worked really well. And we have made matches that are slower, but they can connect and use things like Google Translate and use things through emails and so forth to translate, to connect. We try to do the best we can to find the right language and the right matches for people where they can communicate by talking. But if not, or if someone's deaf or there's a language barrier, of course, you can always use things like Google Translate to connect, and we'll just make sure that we still make that connection for those people. Any more questions, guys, about anything? I love and appreciate all the questions. There's a lot of good ones. If there's any more, I'm super open, as you guys probably can tell very easily. There's no bad questions or anything that makes me uncomfortable, and I think that's how we all learn. And Don, thanks for your question. Where can you get the Immerman Angels hoodie? So, my brother and I, after years of Immerman Angels and, working as a team to build this thing out, the way we got the word out in downtown Chicago was making hoodies like this and t-shirts. We got the tees right there. What we learned, what people would actually wear is if it was black and white, classic colors, nothing bright, and really high quality, comfy, and quality threads that last, and less is more. Just the logo, no taglines, no mission statements. Our friends were like, that's actually cool and it's comfortable and it fits me well. It's not that typical $5K, $2 bright green t-shirt. No offense to other nonprofits, but it shouldn't have to be the wheelhouse. But it's not that ugly t-shirt that you're going to throw in the landfill, which is bad for the earth as well. And it doesn't brand the cause because it doesn't get the mission out, because people don't wear it over and over. They wear it at the event and that's it. So we started making higher quality stuff after years of messing it up. We learned black and white was the secret sauce. Simple, clean, less is more, just the logo, spark a conversation. The more people wore them, the more we got the word out. And we created something called Close Talk, CLOZ Talk. And we're a pending B Corp. So we filed for that. We're waiting to get that back, which is very exciting. And we have about 375 nonprofits that are on Close Talk's site. Many cancer groups. You can use it just as a directory, guys, if you're ever curious about what great cancer groups or other nonprofits are out there. They're all registered 501(c)s. They're all in good standing with the government. They're all vetted. We know every one of them personally and their teams personally. But you can also shop for their apparel. So we design their apparel for them. It's pro bono to the causes. They don't have to do the tech. They don't do the designs. They don't ever stock the inventory. We stock them for all our causes. And then when somebody goes on the Close Talk and they click on Immerman Angels or whatever cause and say, I want a hoodie, or I want a hat or a t-shirt, I want to rock that logo, they can buy single one and we make it on demand and then drop ship it about 4 to 5 days are average from order to arrival at your doorstep. But that is our mission with Close Talk, is to get more people believing that they have the power to make a difference by rocking their favorite cause. And anybody who rocks our hoodie or our hat or any one of our nonprofits that you rock their logo, we have groups like Gilda's Club are with us. Stupid Cancer is with us, of course. Dragonfly, you may know, Little Wish Foundation out of Indy. Teen Cancer America is with us. Go-To Foundation for Lung Cancer out of SF is with us. So we got tons of cancer groups, but you can buy their apparel right there and you can rock it and spread the word. And that's what we believe. The missions just need to get out. So when people need that mission, people are aware, they can find it and use it. You know, almost all these missions are free and these services are free, but awareness was the key to our success at Immerman Angels. And now we want to make that the key to all nonprofit success, that people are educated and aware. These causes are household names. People will use these programs and benefit when they need it. So thanks, Don, for the question, but you can definitely get a hoodie at cloztalk.com is our site. And we'll make it for you. We'll ship it right to you, or any cause that you want to support that's doing good work. That's a noble, awesome thing. And if there aren't any more questions, I just want to say, in wrapping, you guys are awesome. You guys bring it every day. You sleep over at these camps. You spend time with the kids, and early in the morning, late at night, you're sitting at campfires with them. You're having lunch with them. You're giving them your energy, your love, your positivity. You guys are incredible for what you choose to do. There's a lot of other things you can be doing in the world, helping kids with cancer and empowering them. I know you see it. It makes you happy too, because I get it. I've been to so many kids' cancer camps and they're the best. I mean, everyone's happy. Everyone's in a good mood. People are connecting. They're getting to know each other. They feel comfortable, you know, taking off that eye patch because they lost an eye to cancer. They feel comfortable showing they don't have an arm because they lost an arm to cancer, or being in a wheelchair, because everyone is like them. And, you know, helping them connect, I think maybe is the biggest gift you can do, and making them feel comfortable that everyone understands you is the biggest thing you can do for them. So you guys are awesome. Keep up the good work. And thank you guys for listening. And I hope this helps, and the great work that you guys continue to do for the kids with cancer. So all the best. Wish everybody well.
Johnny, on behalf of COCA-I, I just want to thank you for being our keynote speaker today and talking to us and answering all the questions.
Thank you, AK. You're awesome. And there was one more question that popped up. Can individual camps sign up as? Yes, we do have some camps, like Camp Quality is one of them, which AK is the head of the board of, which I think many of you guys know. That is one that we promote on the Closed Talk site as well, and work as hard as we can to find new people to rock their logo. So yes, anyone, any camp, again, it doesn't cost the camps or the nonprofit anything, and we'll build out anything, and they don't even have to promote anything. We drive traffic to our site where people can learn about causes and then support. So yes, you can do that. But thank you, AK, so much for all your help and support, and to Don and Jennifer and everybody. It's an honor to be here.